Welcome everybody to episode 7 of Coffee, Care, and Chaos. As you might notice, we've got a new face, and that's Mr. Ian McLean. So he's joining me. I'm Nate. My wife Jess and I own Executive Home Care of Northeast Dallas, and this is our podcast. And every week, 2 weeks, we get on and we talk about different topics that are related to home care or home care adjacent matters, really health for the elderly, all that sort of thing. And so today, we're going to take a little bit of a pause from talking about those specific topics because we wanted to introduce Ian since he's the newest member of our team. So I'll let you go ahead and start maybe telling the story about like how we met.
Yeah. So my wife and I have been attending Lake Point for some time, and like a lot of folks, we were looking for a cool life group. But a lot of those life groups were already set up, and so that was kind of the obstacle. So I guess rewind maybe year and a half ago-ish.
Yeah. Jeez, it was about that long.
Yeah. We did our first Rooted series at Lake Point. Very cool 8-week kind of discipleship course. And afterwards it spun off into a life group where the church politely said, okay, now go do this at your houses.
Yeah.
And so we have a reoccurring meeting at one of our, very recently cleaned up houses.
Yeah. So it was kind of interesting. And I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I think it was maybe the second or the third Rooted group session. And you gave your testimony. And I remember thinking then, I was like, this guy's got like, you got a thing, right? Like when you talk, people want to listen to you.
Well, I appreciate that.
And so like, it was really fortuitous. And I think it was a blessing. Like I was talking to our business coach, Melissa, one day. I was talking to her about like, oh man, I'm stressing out because I think it's time to hire a full-time marketer, somebody that can handle building all of those relationships, because I've got too much going on now, right? And I was like, I don't even know where to look. I don't even know where to start. I was like totally stressing out. And literally, as soon as I finished that video call with her, you sent me a text and you're like, I might be looking for a new role. And I was like,
yeah,
it was too good of a coincidence,
yeah.
Right? And then we sat down over coffee and it just felt like from that very first conversation that this was going to work out, right? And I told myself, and I did, I was like super hopeful that we were going to be able to bring you on board. But I told myself like, okay, if it doesn't work out, it's, it's just not meant to be, whatever. But here you are, like week and a half later?
Yeah, I was about to say, not that long ago.
That wasn't long ago. And like, so we get to introduce you. So like, tell us like about your background. Like, why did I make this just instant decision to bring you on board?
Yeah.
I know why I did that.
Right. But. So most of my experience, my first job out of school was door-to-door sales. So I have done every level of sales and marketing you can possibly imagine, from residential to commercial to, enterprise level stuff.
Yeah.
Most of my experience over the last decade or so has been in business development,
right?
Taking small businesses and figuring out how to grow them. And I was kind of in this place at work where, lots of money and accolades and trophies, but constantly having to sacrifice, values and, just getting put in spots where it was like, do I
want to do this?
Yeah.
Right.
And so again, my call was more, to my buddy in a life group. Hey, here's this situation. I think I'm going to do the right thing, but it would be nice to have somebody co-sign it.
Yeah, that was a good conversation. And like, I knew you were a good man before that, right? But like having that conversation and knowing that like you had a tough call that you had to make and you just like, you made the right call.
Yeah.
Right. No doubts in your mind, whatever. That was another one. I was like,
yeah. As expensive as those right calls might be sometimes, they're still worth making.
And they're the right investment, right?
Yes.
And they always pay off, and that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Put this in a time vault. As this works out a year from now, we'll look back at this as the beginning of a very amazing
and
day.
It's going to. Like, I've never had a doubt about you being on board, about what you're going to do, because you just had so much energy about like, okay, teach me home care, right? Like I want to know, all these different things and understand. And really, like a lot of your questions and your learning has been not connected to, revenue or this. Like most of your questions have been oriented on like, okay, so how does this help these families?
Yeah.
What's the impact that our service actually has on the patients that we care for?
I'm coming at it through the lens of, so both of my parents are still alive. Both of my wife's parents are still alive. Right. So, part of the origin story of the business itself is you guys having gone through chapters, both you and Jess.
Yeah.
We're kind of at the beginning of that.
Right.
Where they are all still alive and they are at very different levels of independence and, learning about the ecosystem and all the different partners and providers and how the machine actually works has been amazing. But again, I look at it through the lens of how does this help the family?
Yeah.
Right? How does grandmother getting help impact, the children and their ability to continue to just be, the grown-up children?
Actually, the family member, like you're still giving care. You're still a caregiver, but you don't have to be the caregiver. Right.
I mean, I have an 8-year-old and a darn close to 1-year-old. And to think that my parents could be around longer to experience moments with them, I've sold telecom, I've sold energy, and I use that stuff.
Yeah.
But neither one of those two things are as near and dear to me as being a better son to, a mother and father and all that entails, and how we can really be an asset and how that looks to those families out there.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. And what I'd like to do really quick, because I want to pause and just remind everybody, if you haven't liked and subscribed to our page, that would be great. That really helps us out a lot. And it tells us also, like when you comment, it tells us some of the videos that you might want to hear, some of the things you might want us to talk about, etc. So we can keep this going and keep providing y'all information that helps you understand home care better. But kind of back to what you were talking about as far as, the value that this provides for families. So now that you know about the services that we offer, companionship or personal care, activities of daily living, etc., what's the one that like jumps out to you the most when you're thinking about maybe your situation as you look at it over the horizon with your parents or maybe with your wife's parents, etc.?
Having those conversations early.
Yes.
Right? Like anything, right? Having those conversations early. And again, God bless. All of our family members all of our parents are doing fairly well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
but we're one fall away. We're one this away. We're one that away. And just realizing, having those conversations early.
Yeah.
We're worried about yesterdays and tomorrows, as opposed to just the logistics of, okay, we all understand that we're going to get older, right? Grandmother, grandfather's going to need more help.
Right.
Let's just put it the same way we would plan anything else.
Yep. Some families just, they don't know this is coming, right? Some of these things unfortunately happen very suddenly.
Yep.
And so they just haven't had a chance to think about that. They haven't had a chance. They would have, if they knew this was coming. But the families that think about this and just have a chance to get those things prepared in advance, what I've noticed is their stress levels are way, way lower.
Yeah.
And that just makes everything a little bit better.
And I think it allows you to have those last memories very differently.
Correct.
I've met people in the last few weeks, specifically our hospice partners, who they talk about how they got into that business is based on how grandmother or how mother or father went, right, to go meet Jesus. The way my parents handled my grandparents' deaths were very different. Some were prepared and some were like, get here as fast as you can. Grandma's going to die.
I think we all just maybe think like, oh, it's not going to happen today. Right. It's not going to happen next week.
Yeah.
But that planning, that thinking out in advance, make a big difference.
And one of the things I like about the way you and Jess have set this up and, back to those power partnerships is, there's just components that I think if we're really in it for the right reasons and we can bring a number of different, whole suite of solutions to that family member.
Right.
It allows everybody to continue to be, who they are in that family without being all the things that I think sometimes people all the hats they end up wearing.
Right. Yeah.
What if the hat that they could just wear was, father, son, or whatever that relationship is?
And that's the thing. That's the part that I try to get through to people exactly is, your role in your family. It does include some caregiving, right? Like that's a thing, but it doesn't mean you're supposed to be the only caregiver.
Right.
And there's just so many more aspects, like you pointed out. There's the estate planning. Sometimes there's financial planning. There's all these different aspects that, like you said, that's not our wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not what we do. And so to your point, us building a very good, like comprehensive interdisciplinary team, people who we trust, people who we know are going to do a great job caring for people, serving people. I think those are, because we've made those partnerships and we bring that to the table. Well, when we can sense that these families are, overwhelmed, they're stressed out, and there's these different aspects that they're dealing with, well, we've established that trust with them.
And I know Jess takes that same logic when she's going to hire, right? As we bring caregivers on, right? As we grow this, right, agency, that is typically one of the pinch points of this business is making sure you've got the right people in the right seats with the core beliefs that we all share.
That's right. And she's just phenomenal at that. And that comes from her, her individual skill set, her experience that she's had through the years, and just her level of caring about these families, and it's not, oh, just anybody will do. And so what that's translated for me and for us really on the marketing side is when we talk to people, we tell them like, well, we're growing at the rate that we can based on finding the right caregivers.
Right.
And we are not going to intentionally just grow and grow and grow and grow without having the right team to care for folks. I think what's very cool about the way we're piecing things together and the way you come on board is like, we took you and said, okay, here's this guy that's got tons and tons and tons of marketing and sales experience, and I don't. I'm learning, right? But it's just like, I'm not teaching you how to market or how to sell. All I'm doing is kind of giving you all the information that makes the home care industry different than anywhere else you've sold or marketed before.
More so than anything I've ever done, and I've operated across different industries.
Yeah.
This is so relationship based and so personality based.
It is 100%.
That right, having the right relationships in place are the differentiators for all of us.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody in the space.
Right.
Figuring out where we fit into that ecosystem.
Yeah.
Has been interesting. And then, I think, how do we have those conversations that make us an attractive option?
Right.
Right. The marketing part of it is more just doing what the heck we say we're going to do.
Yeah, that's true. And it would be very hard for us to market long term,
right,
if it weren't for our team, the whole team that basically makes everything that we say out there in the field with our partners and our patients or whomever we're talking with. They make all those things true. They're just so darn consistent at delivering what we say we're going to deliver, right? Which is just fantastic care for our patients, but also that support for the families, right? And that's one of those things that really sets us apart.
And the partners that we've chosen, right? I'm not trying to share the secret sauce, but having watched Nate make decisions about, all right, well, we have 2 power partners that we think could be great, and watching him go through the criteria of, well, what do we know about this person? We find out, oh, well, they go to the same church as us, or, they have the same kind of, veteran experience. It's
same value set.
By having people that share those values, whatever the scenario is a year down the road that we didn't forecast, we know that when we're sitting at that table figuring it out together, that we're all bringing the right kind of mindset and the right focus, as opposed to having to figure those moments out in, under fire.
Right.
Which is, I think, is what a lot of these families probably feel like as they're making these decisions. And so being able to trust a team of people, I think that makes a big difference.
It does, because I think they realize, oh shoot, like I'm in this situation and I don't know what I don't know, and I'm overwhelmed. What do I do? And when we come in there and we're calm and we've had this experience and we've got this just phenomenal team behind us and alongside us, that confidence for them immediately, I think, translates to like, oh, okay, we're going to handle this. Like, we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
Executive home care is going to help us, and they might not have all the answers to all our problems, but they're going to help us find those answers. They're going to help us pair with the resources that we need for our given situation.
Absolutely.
And I think that's just super valuable. So.
Absolutely.
Well, with that, I think this has been a great conversation. Like I said, man, I couldn't be happier that you're on board. This is going to be awesome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're so blessed to have you, and we're going to do great stuff together, man. So we're going to have you on a lot of different podcasts, I'm sure. I think at some point you'll probably be doing some of these without me, which would be awesome.
Okay. Just me and Astro.
Yeah, not that I don't love the podcast. I do, but I want to give Ian a chance too. So you're going to be on some. So I think episode 8 is coming up next.
Okay.
And episode 8 is compassion. So we're going to talk about the professional value of compassion. But in the meantime, if any of these topics that we were discussing today resonate with you, if you're looking for care for a loved one, or you just want some more information, you can check out our website. It's down below, or you can call us. Our agency number is 469-314-6465. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. If I haven't done that by like 7 minutes in, just cut in and be like, hey, shut up. Talk about like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Or just give us a wave.
Yeah, like do a or something, right? Like yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Okay. All right. So let me
Yours was what? Team America?
Team America.
Yeah, where that it's the secret sign. I need help.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. There's one line in that movie, and you know the line that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that. Sorry. That is a great movie. Okay. So yeah. All right. I'm gonna try this, and we'll see how it goes.